Hi, good evening, everyone. This is JP Tong. I'm now at Kachar Forest Retreat, Malaysia, and welcome to Thursday Paranormal Tales. This is the fifth sharing, and how is everyone doing tonight? I heard many of you that you've been anticipating for tonight because you are quite die-hard fans of paranormal stories, right? So we'll wait for a few seconds for more of you to tune in before I start sharing. Hi, good evening, everyone. This is JP Tong. I'm not. Excuse me for that. Yeah. So, hi, Antoinette. Hi, Pastor Antoinette. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, if I don't see your name here, please do forgive me because Facebook has this thing whereby I see some of you and I don't see some of you. So do excuse me. Hi, Christina. Thank you very much for tuning in. Christina is this longtime friend of mine whom I just realized that she loves paranormal stories. Yeah. Hi, Cheung. Hi, Sharon. So we'll wait for a few seconds before I share with you. So as I was doing the meditation today, some of you already started asking me about my experience in Bangkok. So I'll save that for last. How about that? Yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in. And if you do have any questions along the way, and for whatever reason, if I don't read it, it's because it's not showing up. So if you don't mind, just repost it again, and I will answer your questions. Yeah. Hi everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Cockman, Jerry. Hello, David. Hi, David. Hi, Pastor Shin. Suzanne, Pastor Honey. There are quite a number of you guys who have been following me during the morning meditation, and you're here. So thank you very much. Hi, Norman. I saw your Facebook post, Norman, on the freak storm, right? Where you're staying in Shah Alam. That's freaky. Hi, Yinping. Yinping, yes, her daughter, Yinping's daughter, is so excited just now. She was like, "Oh, you're going to talk about ghost stories." I was like, "Yes," and she was like clapping her hands. Yeah. Hi, Baku. What's up? Yes. Hi, Kenny. Wow, there are many people tuning in right now. Yeah, the meditation gang is here. Yeah. Hi, King Hoy. Okay, no music tonight. No music tonight. Because it was quite disturbing. Yeah, it's quite disturbing, and I'm having a bit of a headache right now. So now I'm going to focus on stories. I've actually written down a few things that I think I will talk to you guys about. Okay, so I think we're almost there. Hi, Tata. Thank you very much for tuning in. Okay, so I will talk about a few experiences that I had from before I joined Kachara and became a Buddhist, and also after I joined Kachara and have become a Buddhist, and my experience thereafter. So I will talk about attending a funeral. Okay, so this is before I met Kachara, this Buddhist organization that I belong to. So I remember that my friend's dad passed away, and it was in Malacca, which is like 2 hours away from Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia. So my other buddy and I, we carpooled, and I drove all the way down to Malacca. And there's this tradition in Malacca that people who attend funerals, they will sit out, after they pay the respect to the departed, they will actually, have some sort of like a gathering just outside the house, and they have tables set up, and they will be eating food, and then they'll be drinking beer. And I was like, oh, that's strange, because it's the first time that I've attended a Chinese funeral where people actually drink beer. So we were talking and talking and talking, and then after that, because this friend of mine, I've known the family since my college days in the States. So I used to party in Boston, and I met them there. So anyways, so I was talking to them and consoling them, and as we were talking, as I was talking to one of the family members, and we were seated around this round table, I could actually see the dad coming to her and going like this because she was crying. I still remember it because she was, you know, she didn't take it very well, obviously. So the dad, who is the departed, his spirit came and was going like this to her, and I said, you know what? Don't. I said, I'm very sorry for your loss. But, you know, and just let you know, I said that your dad is around you right now, and he's actually consoling you, you know, and I think it will be, you know, what I forgot what I said, but basically along the lines that you know that your dad is consoling you, and the feeling that he gave me that is to tell her that, you know, be rest assured that he's fine. So I passed him that message. I didn't hear him talking to me, but it was almost that telepathic message that came to me. Somehow the thought came to me that I'm supposed to say this to her. I don't know why, but I just had a strong feeling that was it. So after I said it, then he left, and then I felt, okay, so I got it right, and I was not hallucinating. So anyway, so after I paid respects, then it was getting late. So I went to the bathroom. Then after that, I came back out, and I told my friend, hey, you know, we gotta go because it's gonna be late, and it was a 2-hour drive back to the city. So as I was going to the car and I was driving out of that town, there was a spirit that was like flying behind me and following. And you know, at that time I was used to it because wherever I drive, there'll be spirits flying behind me and following me. So I was used to it, and there was quite a number of them that followed me, and they followed me from the funeral. Somehow I think they're curious who passed away, so they were like hovering around where the coffin was placed. So some of them kind of, once I drove to the freeway, most of them kind of stayed behind, but one followed, and I didn't think about it. Then as I was driving on the freeway, all of a sudden I smelled an alcohol breath, and I turned to my friend. And I said, hey, I didn't realize that you were drinking just now, because I said, that's fast. I just went to the bathroom and you drank beer. I was like, wow, life's good, huh? And then he looked at me and was like, oh, I thought you drank beer. Because there was a really strong stench of alcohol breath. Yeah? And he looked at me like bewildered. I was like, okay, you know what? Stop kidding, right? Then he's like, here. And then he was like blowing his breath towards me. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute. Because I forgot there was a spirit following us. And I was ignoring it. So then when I looked at the rear window, there he was right behind us. So I was so excited. You know why? Because this friend of mine, you know, he's one of my drinking buddies, and we used to go out for happy hour every Wednesday. He is a total cynic. He's so cynical. He's like, I've never experienced spirits. You guys are crazy. You're hallucinating. I don't believe in spirits. And going on and on and on and on. And he will always tune off when my other drinking buddies would ask me about my experiences. So he's like, you guys are crazy. I'm not going to listen to you guys. So I was very excited because he actually smelled not my breath, but the spirit's breath. So I'm like, oh. And I turned to him and was like, do you want to know where that breath is coming from. You know, I had like that cheeky look. It's like, And he looked at me, he was like, oh shit. I was like, you want me to tell you where it's coming from? I think he got it, he knew. And I was like, look behind. And he freaked out. He's like, shut the, up. Don't talk about it. Shut up. Just drive. Ever since that experience, he never said that I was a freak. And he never put me down ever since then. So I was like, yay. It's like I managed to convert one of my friends who is like a staunch disbeliever of spirits. Like, nah, it's all fictional. It's all in your head. So I was glad that I converted him from that one experience. Yeah, so that was my first experience of really, smelling the spirit's alcoholic breath. So obviously, he is a drunkard. It was an old man. I saw an old man sitting behind us, and he was drunk, and he was just following us and just being curious, like, what's up, that sort of a thing. So that, so that was I was very happy that actually happened with this friend of mine. And you see, at that time, because I was so I was attracting so many spirits that many of my friends who have never experienced before would actually start experiencing. So that was one good example of a firm non-believer. So yeah, so that was that. Can spirit drink beer? No, not really. Hi, Audrey. Oh, my cousin. Hello. Yes, Audrey is my cousin who loves. She's from New Jersey, but she's in Singapore right now. So she loves. Both of us love ghost stories, and we'll always ask our aunties to actually tell us ghost stories when we're in school in New Jersey. So now it's my turn to tell my experience, Audrey. Sharon says, "Can the spirit can drink beer?" Well, I don't think they drink beer, but because I guess when they were a human being, they like to drink beer. They like to drink beer, and somehow, as now that they've reincarnated as a spirit, they actually continue with that attachment of drinking beer. So I don't think in a spirit world, I don't think you can drink our physical beer. But I think they will emit that kind of a smell, even though they're not drinking it. Yeah. That's why those drinks are called spirits. Well, I don't know, David. You do have a sense of humor there, David. Aaron, hi, Aaron. Is this your first time tuning in? The spirit wearing white or black? White or black? I don't remember seeing his shirt. He was wearing, like how the Chinese older men, they would wear these short sleeve shirts, with a button down. It was like that. But because it was dark, so I could only see from the rear window, but I did take a sneak peek like that. But I could see his head more clearly. See, you have to understand that they are translucent. It's like a 3D hologram. And you can see like an image of them, but you can see through them. Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was wearing a white shirt, as many older men at those times they would actually wear. In Malaysia, I'm talking about. Yeah, that sort of thing. So, and why would you want to know, Aaron? Is there something that you would like to share with us? Let me see. Cynthia Lee says, I think horror music would add to the excitement. Excitement, okay. And any questions? Okay. Okay, so there are a lot of ghost story diehard fans here. Great. So that was my that was my experience with a drunkard spirit. Okay, and talking about drunkard spirits, I also noticed that the height of my experience with spirits, I noticed that many spirits love to hover around outlets that serve alcohol, be it a bar, a lounge, even a karaoke lounge. It's filled with spirits. And I think I mentioned that in one of my episodes. So there was one night when I went for karaoke with my business partner, and we usually do that, when for happy hour. So there was one evening I was singing with her, and I remember very clearly that because I was singing a Cantonese song. I was just faking it because I don't read Chinese, but I kind of remember it. I was just like going along, and she doesn't read Chinese, so it doesn't matter, right? So I was just making up the lyrics. Well, it's happy hour, just have fun. So I was singing a song from Leslie Cheung. Leslie Cheung is a very famous Hong Kong actor-singer who committed suicide many years ago. So I sang a song called Choi. Choi is in chasing. And I was singing and singing, and very strange, because as I was singing and improvising, a spirit came along and sat right next to us. And even though I couldn't see it, but I could feel a very strong presence. He was seated next to my friend and I. And my instincts tell me it's Leslie Cheung. Now, I cannot verify it, whether it's him, but that was the message that was given to me, that he actually came. So I just kept quiet, and I just started saying, because my friend is a chicken. She loves to listen to it. So she loves to listen to ghost stories, but she will always freak out. And every time when I talk to her, she'd be like this. She'd be like covering like that, and then like that, like she's that tight, and she like look at me through the like in between her her fingers. There's some people like that. I was like, what's your point? Like, how does that make you less scared, right? It's like, oh, I just don't want to see you so much. It kind of gives her a security. Well, whatever. So, anyways, so after I finished singing it, and then she was looking at me like really quiet, because you usually should be like, okay, it's my turn, but she was really quiet. And then she was like having teary-eyed, but she was trembling at the same time, like this. And I was like, what's wrong? And she was smoking, you see, and as she was smoking, she was like shivering like this. I was like, are you okay? Why are you so emotional? She was like, JP, and when you were singing his song, I could feel a presence. And I could feel Leslie here. I looked at her, I was like, no way. I was like, you know what? I also felt his presence. I was like, oh no, you don't tell me that. She was like freaking out, and then she was like crying and crying. Because Leslie Cheung, this singer, actor, is actually one of her idol. And she was stumped because I didn't say anything. So when she told me that, I felt his presence so strong when you were singing this song. Yeah, so you see, so things like that actually do happen. So whether or not it is him, I don't know, but perhaps, because you see, spirits they can manifest as other people or even holy beings. Remember my previous episodes I was saying? That they can, and there's no way for people our level to actually verify whether or not they are who they actually are, because they are shapeshifters. Certain spirits can change the way they look in front of us. They can change, and a lot of times they can change into holy beings to trick us and to tell us to do all these acts of compassion, healing, and all that. Remember, I spoke about that during my previous episodes. Yes, they can. So that's why, I guess that's why I cannot verify. But it's a nice thought that I guess Leslie did come. I guess, And now that I've learned a bit of Buddhism and we do study about the spirit realm, not that we worship them, but it's just knowing so that when we do experience them, there's a way, well, we coexist harmoniously and peacefully, but just in case they attack us, at least we know how to protect ourselves. Yeah, it's for those reasons and nothing more. Yeah, so and ever since then, there were a few other experiences, but in karaoke, it's loaded. It's loaded. So if for those of you who frequent bars and lounges, and if you want to experience any paranormal activity, just hang out in the bars. They are all there. They're all there. Let's see if they have any questions here. Wow. Wait, your female friend is a chicken? Yes, David, my female friend is a chicken. Yes. Let me see, any questions? Let me see. Christina, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, but Christina, it's a very long name. What I saw was not translucent, it was solid like human. Happened many years ago. Okay, that's interesting. Solid like human. There are certain ones that are, they look very solid, but if you look closely, you can actually see through them. But they're very bright, as though there's a person there, but actually they're not. So interesting. I've not seen what you just said, that it's like a solid person. I've not seen that. Interesting. How do spirits look like? Do they have human face? Well, you see, this is from Ananda, if I pronounce that correctly, Ananda. Then I realize that there are many shapes and sizes of spirits, and they don't necessarily look like human beings. If you've watched my previous episodes, I have spoken about spirits that the common ones are, of course, they look like human, and it's like a 3D hologram. Another common one is a dark silhouette where they like to climb on walls and up on ceilings. And there are some that I have seen as an orb, but when I saw that, it looked like a solid tennis ball. Yeah, it was very strange. It looked like a solid tennis ball, but with eyes and a mouth, but like squished like that. Literally like a yin yang kind of like that, like squished. So that I have seen, and I have seen them in clusters of light, like fairy lights, very tiny fairy lights, and you see lines, lit up. It's like a mesh with a lot of dots, and they come. There's one that I've seen that is green, and there's one I've seen that's in red. So those I've seen, and then there's some that are just like, you can't really see them. Like when you're boiling water and there's that mirage effect, that wavy mirage. It's not even vapor. It's that mirage thingy. You don't really see it, but you see some shimmering mirage effect. But it's only, and that shimmer, that mirage, looks like a person. So it has an image of a person. So I've seen that before. But my teacher, Rima Tree, did tell me that there are so many types of spirits out there. It's like insects. There are just billions and billions of different types of spirits. So they come in all forms and sizes and shapes and all that. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Ananda asks. Oh wait, before that, Pastor David. I heard that spirits that smell nice also mean that they are nice and harmless, and when they smell bad, it means they are harmful or malevolent. Did you hear that before? No, actually. In contrary, I've heard of this. You know, sometimes when we are walking like outside, and then all of a sudden you smell something very fragrant, like flowers, like flowers. And it's only that one spot. Yeah, it's not like the wind blew and then all of a sudden you smell it. Again, you see, because if the wind blows and you smell it like in the environment, that's because there are some flowers nearby, fragrant flowers nearby. But this is different. It's only in that one particular spot that you smell it. Because I've tried it many times. So, well, what I was told is this, Pastor David, is that these are nature spirits who reside in one of the plants out there. And if your karma is ripened, if your negative karma is ripened, they will actually entice you. They'll actually entice you and they will get you. That's what I was told. Okay, I've never experienced that before, but I was told that every time, well, you know, from our parents, from my aunt, they say, if you smell something, you know, that is very sweet smelling, like, you know, like a fragrance, don't talk about it, don't acknowledge it, just quickly walk away. Do that. Yeah, I've had that experience before in Kachar Forest Retreat. Okay, I'm not going to freak you out, even though, yes, this is a spiritual retreat, but you know what? They coexist harmoniously, so it's fine. So when I was building this house that I'm in right now, and at that time, it was a jungle. So every evening after I'm done overseeing the contractors, I would actually walk to where Ducal apartment is, which is just what, 200 yards just away from here, and there's always that one spot where the parking areas right now, for those of you who are from Kachara, that has a talcum powder smell. Yeah, talcum powder. And you know what? None of us wear talcum powder because we just came from a construction site. So I looked at my colleague and I was like, when I first smelled it, I was like, I didn't realize you wear talcum powder, you know, and we were all sweating. So it didn't make sense that it smelled like somebody just showered and just put a lot of talcum powder, baby powder. It smelled like that. It was very strong. And he smelled it too. And I was like, do you smell that? And it's like, oh yeah. So we walked forward and then there was no smell. And we walked back again. And it was that one spot. And we walked, like a few steps, backwards. And there was no smell. It was just at one particular spot. And he said, I think I know where it is. Let's go. I said, yeah, I think I know too. Okay, let's go. So that was my experience. Yeah. So no, it is not the Night Queen plants that we have. It's not that. It was baby powder. Very strange. Yeah. So, but bad smell. Whether or not you see those that I have smelled that had a bad smell. Remember in my previous episode, I said that they have that stench of decay. It's like a very earthy decay smell. It wasn't malevolent. It was just because a few days after that, I saw the spirit in my room, and he was just standing there. He was just standing there looking at me as I was sleeping. Yeah, and he didn't do anything. He didn't push me. He didn't press on me. Nothing. I think he just wanted my attention because he looked very sad. He looked very sad. He just stood there and looked at me sleeping. So I guess he was lonely, I guess. Oh, thank you for your hearts. Yeah, so I have not heard. And I did say in my previous episode that I could actually, after a while, I could tell whether or not they're male or female just by smelling. The female spirits have a very fishy smell to it. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's my experience. Hi, Binquila. Thank you very much for tuning in. David says, I've heard that before, but for the Malay culture, Pontianaks and other ghosts smell sweet, like pandan and other blooms, apparently. Yes, I have heard of that Pontianaks actually smell like that. Talking about Pontianak, I've never seen them. Pontianak is It's a local Malaysian spirit. It's a female spirit. The what's the story behind it? It's a woman who died in childbirth. Is that what it is? So I have not seen it, but I have a friend whose good friend have seen this before, and well, I can share that with you. According to her, she said that her friend was hospitalized, and I said, "What happened?" She said that there was one night, when we were much younger, like in our 20s. So, and it was like, she was very worried. And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Oh, he just encountered a spirit." I was like, "What?" Just by seeing a spirit, he was hospitalized? I said, "What happened?" And she said that he was clubbing that night. And then as he was driving through Damansara Heights towards Bangsar area, that's the residential area in Kuala Lumpur, and he saw a lady walking alone, and he actually drove past her, and then he noticed her at the rear window, and he stopped the car and he reversed. I mean, can you imagine? So he reversed and was checking her out and talking to her. Because he was like, "Oh, it's strange that a pretty woman is walking all alone at 4 a.m., along that main road." I mean, like, right? So so guys in his 20s, so he was talking to her, and then I don't know what transpired, but then after that, apparently he drove. So he drove away to go back home because his home was just nearby. And as he was driving, and when he looked at the rear window just to see where the lady was, apparently he saw her flying towards him. And instead of her being a pretty lady, it was a ghastly-looking old woman that was really ugly, and she was just flying and flying towards him, and he freaked out. So he sped to his home, which was nearby, and apparently as he was driving, he was calling his family to open the front gates of the house because he was freaking out. So the entire house woke up apparently and was wondering what's wrong, because they thought that maybe somebody was trying to kidnap him. So he's like, open the gate. I'll tell you later, but just quickly open the gate, and I'm going to rush in. And then after that, you quickly close the gate, okay? I think he told his sister or something like that. So as soon as he arrived, he didn't even wait for the gate to open. He just jumped out of the car, ran past the gates, and he got his sister to close the gates. And he said that once they closed the gates, this Pontianak, this old lady, it's like a witch. She was lurching on the gate and cackling, like that, cackling, and the whole family was there, and they saw her. So that guy was so spooked out, he had a breakdown. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was hospitalized for 1 month. Yeah, so I'm very lucky I didn't experience that, but I thought that was a good story to tell since we're talking about Pontianaks. Okay, so for those of you, if you see anybody walking alone in the freeway at 4 a.m., don't try to be smart and check the person out. So that's the moral of the story. Okay. Ananda, is Leslie Cheung a wandering ghost now? I don't know, Ananda. I don't know, but like I said, I don't know whether or not it's really him, but the presence. But you see, both my friend and I felt his presence very strongly. So you see, spirits can trick us. Spirits can trick us to let us think that there are something else than who they actually are. So there's no way for us to verify. It takes it takes an evolved person like my teacher to be able to check. He will have the clairvoyance to check. But unfortunately, most of us are not that evolved, and we don't have the clairvoyance to check whether or not they are who they appear to be. Yeah. So whatever it is, we don't communicate with them. I've learned it the hard way. We don't try to say, hey, what's up? Like, what do you want? We don't. Because when you do that, you're actually opening up the portal for us to be closer or connected, to have a stronger connection with the spirit realm. We don't want to do that. Reason being, because when we do that, well, if the spirit is a peaceful spirit, it's a benevolent spirit, then nothing happens. But but once your portal is open, it's like you're opening your front gate of your house. All right? So anybody can actually walk through. So if for whatever reason an evil one walks through, we are not equipped. We're not equipped to protect ourselves. And that was what happened to me many years ago when I was doing energy healing. Remember my stories? So I wasn't equipped, and they were trying to possess me, and I had a lot of spirit disturbance because of that. Yeah. So I learned the hard way, not to actually meddle with them. Well, whatever our intentions may be, because my intention was just to help them. But the more I helped them, the more I actually opened up a huge can of worms, and I got myself into a lot of trouble because of that. Yeah. Okay. So, any other stories? No surprising. JP does look like a bit like Leslie Cheung when I first met him. Ha ha ha. Okay. Annette, very, very nice. No, he's much better looking. Yeah, but thank you very much. That was very sweet of you. I'm cackling in disbelief. There are some nights without jasmine blooming around, but I smell it. There are many. Well, you see, the way to check, Ken, is you have to go back to the spot. If it's only that one spot, yeah, that one spot is literally that, 2 feet by 2 feet, kind of a spot. That's it. You will smell it, and it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. Audrey says, bars, clubs, casino, all spirit-friendly places. Yes, definitely. Many casinos do have spirits. Either they're gambling spirits, or there are casinos who actually meddle with child spirits. In Malaysia, they're called toyos, but actually they are child spirits. They are. It's some sort of a magic that they do, whereby they get this sorcerer to actually trap child spirits. Usually they are unborn fetuses, and they will harness and trap these souls, for lack of a better word, but they actually, they've actually taken the spirit form. They'll trap them, and they will take care of them, and they actually get them to work for them. Okay, how do they work for them in casinos? They would, if you can see them, you will see them pulling at people's trousers, and if you're wearing a dress, they'll be pulling you, and for some reason, when you walk past a casino, there is that urge that you want to go in to play, and you're like, it's okay, I feel like playing, but it's actually them tugging you. And that is why there, in certain casinos, underneath the table, you will see a lot of candies. People throw candy to distract them, to distract all these child spirits, so that they will be distracted, and so that they won't sit on their shoulders. Because a lot of times, they'll make them lose by sitting on their shoulders. I don't really know how that works, but I have experienced that before. Remember my story about the mahjong game that I played? And that lady spirit was literally lurching on my back. And I lost all my chips within 1.5 hours. I lost everything and more. So I don't know how that works, but somehow they can make you not win when you gamble. And many casinos actually keep them for those reasons. Yeah. So yes, definitely casinos have a lot. And not just them, because there are many people who lose a lot of money, and they commit suicide. So their soul actually lingers. So they reincarnate as in the spirit realm, and they linger and they linger in the casino area because they are so addicted to gambling. But unfortunately, because they lost everything, they had to commit suicide. And that's pretty sad. Sharon says, the spirits with nice smells like flowers, I'm told, are nature spirits. Yes, that's what I think. They are nature spirits because they have a different vibration. For those of you who feel spirits, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't see them but you feel it, it's a different vibration altogether from the normal spirits. Okay. Pontiana apparently exudes the fragrance of bunga, champaka, or frangipani. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh yes, I did hear about it, that they actually like this champaka trees, apparently. Yeah, so scary. I smelled that sweet smell in my house once, my parents' home. Pastor David says, my parents' home late one night. I ran to my room because I felt something was not right. Christina says, when I used to entertain a lot at work, or rather I go out a far bit at night, I reckon I tried a lot of spirits, or rather they followed me. There's a seafood that came to the office to do blessings but never had a chance to meet me as I'm always out for appointments. The seafood saw my working desk. He immediately asked, does the person go out a lot at night? Because seafood said below my desk there were lots of rather full of those spirits. Wow. Why is that? Did you find out why, Christina? And did you have goosebumps when you go into your office? That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Christina. Ananda asks, is it true that Hungry Ghost Month, more spirits will be released from another portal that can be liberated or assisted to reborn in other higher realms? Well, during Hungry Ghost Month, I did ask my teacher, Rima Tree, many years ago. I said that for some reason, during the Hungry Ghost Month, I feel that, the spirits are everywhere. Is it true exactly what you said? I said, is it true that, as the Taoists say, that the gates of hell are open? Is it true? Rima said, no, it's not. It's just that these spirits, are just hanging out, and they're in the jungle. They're all over the place. But why is it that we experience them more? The reason is because during the month of the Hungry Ghosts, or known as Ulambana Festival, we actually, the Taoists make offerings to them. So if you make offerings to them and you keep thinking about your ancestors and spirits in general, because you think about them and just by that, and you're doing rituals for them, you're actually inviting them to come. And that's why, can you imagine if your entire neighborhood is making offerings and having thoughts about the ancestors? If for whatever reason the ancestors were reborn in the spirit realm, definitely they will come. Definitely come. So that's the reason why there's a lot. It is true during Cheung Festival, which is what is Cheung Festival? All Souls Day. Yeah. All Souls Day in the Western country, it's the same thing. And during this Hungry Ghost Festival, yes, they all come, and that's the only reason. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, I hope that explains. And Ananda, Jerry, what does lotus smell mean? Lotus smell? Who said lotus smell?
No, what does the smell of lotuses mean? We smell lotuses.
Oh, I don't know. I've not smelled that before. I've not smelled of lotuses. I mean, I've smelled the flower, but not in the paranormal sense. I've not. So I'm very sorry, I'm not able to answer that. I heard banana trees attract pontianas and they reside in the tree, apparently. It is like their favorite resident. Yes, there are certain nature spirits that like certain trees, like banana trees, frangipani. They love frangipanis. That's why every time when I want to plant a frangipani tree in Kachawa Forest Retreat, Rinpoche will always ask and say, are you sure? Because he will say, I'm not afraid, I'm just worried about some of our members here. Because he said that they will always attract spirits to reside there. But I like frangipani trees. It's very, very exotic, and it has a very nice smell to the trees, to the flowers. So yeah, so we don't have that many frangipani trees as a result. Ravs. Hi Rav, thank you very much for tuning in. I had a weird encounter which I believe was a spirit once, and this was during the day. I was taking that with my face leaning on the pillow, felt something pushing me towards the pillow really hard, and I couldn't even push myself off. It whispered to me in a harsh tone in a language I couldn't understand. But after I felt it was only then I can move. After it left, it was only then I can move. Have you heard of something of this nature before? And if so, what kind of spirit is this? Yes, definitely, Rav. There are certain spirits that actually presses on us, okay, and they can either talk to us or before they press on us, you will hear this buzzing sound. They will have that. It's a very subtle sound. Not all the time, but sometimes you hear it. Ask Pastor David. He's a favorite. He attracts a lot of this. Sorry to expose you, Pastor David, but he has a very strong connection with this kind of spirit. They love to press on him. I don't know why. Yes, so they do, and what you can do is this. Because you see, you are wide awake, right? So, if you do have a religion, then you do your prayers. You do your prayers, and you think very hard for whatever. I'm not sure what religion you belong to, but think very hard and pray very hard. And usually it will go away. You pray for the spirit. Because compassion the compassion that we generate in our mind, through prayers, because prayers actually generate that compassion. When we do that and focus on it very, very strongly, it will immediately calm the spirit down, because even they are moved by your compassion. But of course, there are some who are very mischievous and they don't care and they still want to press you down. Then there are prayers that you can do. For Buddhist prayers, we can do mantras by Dorje Shugden, who is a protector. You can do mantras from Dukkha, or better known as White Umbrella, this lady here in this green picture. You can do Singdoma. What else can you do? You can do Namgyama, really? Well, Namgyama, Satrap, or any protective practice that you can think of. Yes, you can do that. Yeah. For those of you who are Buddhists, if you have very strong connection with your guru, or what we call guru devotion, then you just think of your guru very strongly, and it's good enough to stop them from doing all that. Okay, and if you would like to have the mantras, do let me know, and I will share that with you. No problem. David says, and that explains why you see certain banana trees with a red cloth tied around it like a belt. Yes, that's true. Christina asks, what can we do to protect ourselves from evil spirits besides chanting? Well, you see, Christina, you can wear those amulets. If you're Buddhist, you can get it from your temple. Okay? Buddhist temple, yeah? Buddhist temple. You can do that. But chant, you see, for me, who have a very strong karma with spirits, in the Buddhist religion, we believe that in order for anything to happen to us is because of our karma. Karma means cause and effect. So I have that karma to be able to sense them. Because if you don't have a karma to connect to them, you can be surrounded by spirits and you just don't feel or see them. You just don't. And I've experimented that before with my friends, which I shared with you all in my last episode, that I saw hundreds of them walking towards me. Remember that story that I told? And my friend was right next to me, and I said, squint your eyes, can you see? Because it was so clear to me, but he could not. So not everybody can see it. Yeah, so definitely you can do that. But reciting Buddhist mantras, there are specific Buddhist mantras that we do to purify that karma, so that the spirit cannot harm us or cannot be too near us. Yeah, I have a very strong karma. So even though they don't come near me too much, or even if they come near me, they don't do, they cannot harm me because I've been purifying that karma of mine. And there's certain protection mantras that you can do to protect yourself, just in case you have such bad luck on that day and you stumble upon an evil spirit that is there to attack you. Yeah. Andrea Boo. Okay. Christina says, I don't feel anything. Okay. Then it's fine. Because you see, spirits are like humans. And I think I saw a question somewhere that, why is it that they attack you? They're like humans. Some people just have that habit of doing negative things. And because as a human being, when they were in the human realm as a human being, they must have had that habit of always wanting to hurt others. So in Buddhism, we believe that cause equals results. So if this is how you are in the human realm, you will when you die, when you pass away, you will reincarnate in a situation or as a being that will continue with that habituation. Either as an animal, where you're always inflicting suffering on others, like the carnivorous animals, or as a spirit. Yeah, or even in the human realm, where you continue harming others. So that's the reason. Carmen Koo. Hi, Kareen Koo. Besides Pop's Karaoke, I believe hospitals as well full of spirits. Yes, definitely. Hospitals are packed with spirits. Do we need to clean ourselves with pomelo leaves after each visit? I have tried that many times. It doesn't work on me. It doesn't. So what you can do is, again, you can, incense is very effective. You can use juniper incense. Don't use the Chinese incense, because the Chinese incense it's just sawdust with a lot of artificial flavoring, or what do you call it? Is that chemical it doesn't work. You can use juniper, that works very well. Even sage works very well. Frankincense, frankincense, you can do that, and you can actually just burn it, and then you have that. You kind of like cleanse your body with the smoke, and that's good enough. And if you're afraid that they come to your house, you can douse your house with sage. You can buy that, or even frankincense. In Malaysia, in these Indian shops, they sell it. They look like rocks. So you burn the coal or the charcoal, and you just put a bit of the frankincense on it, and it emits a lot of smoke, and that's excellent in pushing away all the negative energy in your house, and also pushes away any negative spirits that may be there. Yeah, it will push them away. And when you do that, you can do your prayers. If you're Christian, you do your Christian prayers. If you're Hindu, you do your Hindu prayers. If you're Buddhist, you do your Buddhist prayers. And that's it. And that's how you cleanse yourself. So pomelo, it's a myth. I've tried it many times. It doesn't work for me. If for Kacharians, of course, if you can, when you are burning your incense, you can put a protector rice in your incense to burn it, to give it the extra protection. Yeah, and we do that a lot in Kachara here. You saying hi? You saying JP? Have you talked about the time you helped a friend who was possessed? You talked about it nearly 10 years ago back in KH. Oh, I did. Which friend? Because I did help many friends. I will talk about that. Okay, I think I've got to talk about my Bangkok. Oh, it's almost 11. It's almost time. I better talk about my Bangkok thingy. Okay, I will read your questions later. Okay, so what happened is this. Many years ago, Rinpoche and a group of... Rinpoche is my teacher, Ten Rinpoche. So many years ago, Rinpoche went to Bangkok with a group of friends and decided to stay there. So I got a call one day, and Rinpoche said, "Oh, I need you to," because I was in KL at that time. "I need you to pack." This was a long list of things. Bring my Buddha statue, bring all my belongings, and charter a truck and drive all the way to Bangkok. Yes, so we did that. So my colleague Andrew, is Andrew here today? If you're here, Andrew, hi. We're going to talk about your experience. So we chartered a truck, and then both of us chartered a taxi. And with the truck full of Rinpoche's items and all of the students' items, we packed it, and we drove for 27 hours. I remember it was 27 hours we drove. It was a nice trip. I'm only going to do it once, and that's it. It was a nice trip. So we drove from KL. We went to the border, and then we waited, and then anyway, so we drove, and then by the time we reached Bangkok, it was late at night. I think it was like 8-9 p.m. And Rinpoche was in the house, and all the students, all the staff came out. So all the staff came out, and I was dead tired by that time. So I didn't see anything, so I helped unpack. I walked in, and then Andrew asked one of our colleagues, like, "Hey, can you please ask that old Thai lady, the elderly Thai lady, to come and help?" And everyone was like, "Andrew, there's no elderly Thai lady here. What did you see?" "Oh, that elderly Thai lady. I saw her walking out with you guys." And everybody was like, because you know why? This is a story. Because a week before that, when everybody moved into the house, there were already paranormal experiences at that time. And now I wasn't there because I was in KL. So there was once Rinpoche was giving a talk in the living area, and Rinpoche, when he was talking, all of a sudden he stopped. Oh wait, before he stopped, my colleague told me everyone heard a knock on the door. Somebody went like this, literally. And Rinpoche said, "No, wait outside." And everybody was like, "Who's Rinpoche talking to? And who was knocking on the door?" Because everyone was in the room with Rinpoche. So it was actually that elderly Thai lady, because she lives in the house next door. Okay, so I think she used to be the owner there, and she has passed away, and she lives there, and she's very attached to the house, but she's also very lonely and very curious. And she saw Rinpoche, and I guess because she's Thai, and she noticed that Rinpoche is a monk, so she wanted to sit in to listen to the talk, but Rinpoche said, "Not now, wait outside." So everybody apparently in the room like freaked out. It's like, uh-oh. Because apparently it was a clear knock like this. So can you imagine? And you see, I didn't know all this. So when I was in the house, and there was like, no. So I didn't know how she looked like because I didn't see it, but Andrew saw it. But I think there was a particular window that I would walk past. I think it was at a landing, right? It was at a landing upstairs. And when I look out, I was like, "Oh, there she is." I actually could sense her. See, as I'm talking about it right now, she's still there. As I'm talking about it and recalling, I'm getting goosebumps. And that is an indication that what I saw is real. See, I've learned to trust my instincts. Certain things would happen when I talk about spirits, And if you tell me stories about spirits for some reason, I'm not saying I'm psychic, but I'm just letting you know how I can tell. If I get goosebumps when you're telling me, not because I'm freaking out, my goosebumps it's like an indicator whether or not what you saw is actually a spirit or not. That's it. Yeah, and I've verified that many times with Rima Tree, and Rima said, yes, what the person said is actually. So now I know, I can gauge when I get goosebumps, I know that it's real. So you see, so yes, so and she's always at the window, and Rima Tree also said that. Yes, she's always like very nosy, always looking and wanting to see what we're doing. Yeah, so I saw that. So, and we would actually make offerings near the gate on the wall. There is like a little like a ledge, right? And we would like make offerings. And Rinpoche said, "Don't worry, we will give you offerings, for her," right?
Yeah, when she said to offer Milo biscuits because
Oh.
old people like
Yeah. So we were told to make offerings of chocolate milk, Milo, and biscuits, because elderly people like that very much. So I guess Rinpoche knew what she liked. It was to appease her, not that she can drink it or eat it, but it is to appease her. It is to appease her mind and to make her calm. So spirits take reincarnation. Well, people take reincarnation as a spirit because why? Because they're very attached. It's because they're very attached to the house. They don't want to leave. So after they pass away, they come back as a spirit and they stay there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And that's what happened. Yeah. What else about the Bangkok story? So that's my Bangkok story. So,
she came to pray at the altar. She wanted to pray in the Jesus.
oh, yes. Oh, and also one more. It's not very scary, so I'm very sorry to let you know. It's not very scary, but it was freaky because everybody heard that knock, like that. So that was freaky. So every night, once we're there, every night we would actually do prayers around the Buddha statue at the veranda. And I remember distinctly there was one night when we were doing prayers, and all of a sudden Rinpoche looked up and said, "Not now. Not now. You can come and make offering. You can come and pray later." And Rinpoche was talking like not to us. He was looking beyond us at the garden. So obviously the Thai lady wanted to join us to pray. She wanted to join us to pray. So everybody was like looking around like that, like where, because they can't see. So that was freaky to everyone. So everybody just stayed there just like praying and praying and praying and praying. And that's it. Yeah. So for some reason, wherever we go with Rinpoche, we end up staying in a house that is haunted. It's haunted. Well, I guess that's why, because we always go for the cheapest house that we can get, the biggest but the cheapest to rent. So it's usually haunted houses, and we love it. So we have no problems staying in haunted houses. Okay.
That's an interesting question from Ananda.
Ananda asks, do spirits come when a person is reciting or read a sutra or chant a mantra? When I read the Earth Store or Sitigaba Bodhisattva Sutra, I dream of how beings suffered and felt spirits around me. Did my conscious go to visit the realm? I don't know whether or not your conscious went to the realm, but I can tell you when we do prayers, any prayers of compassion, because, prayers are sounds of compassion. They are very attracted. Spirits are very attracted to prayers. Very, very. Because why? Because they are in an energy form. So they will feel the energy of compassion that we're reciting. And it actually calms their mind and it calms their entire being. So they come here to seek solace and some sort of a temporary relief. So definitely. So whether or not you went to the realm, to the hell realm, is that what you are referring to, or spirit realm? That I'm sorry, I cannot verify. But you know what? You don't want to go to the realm, regardless, and you do not want to always connect to them. You don't want to. You don't want to. If you do have spirit disturbances, Ananda, or any kind of if the spirits come too near you for comfort, well, you can always do a protector mantra, which we do so that it is to protect you from all this. Because as we are doing prayers, definitely they will come, and not only the nice ones will come. Sometimes, if you do have the karma, even the evil ones will come. They will come and they may disturb you. So that's why it is always good to complement your normal prayers with a protector's practice to give you your protection. Okay? If you are interested, you can drop me a comment and we will share the protector's mantra with you. All right?
There's one from Cheung.
Cheung, has a spirit ever followed you to KFR and remained there? Not that I'm aware of, because there are already many spirits in KFR. There are many Nagas, there are many nature spirits in KFR, definitely. A lot of nature spirits for sure. Normal spirits, well, they have come to this room, my bedroom, because this is my bedroom. They have come to visit me before. They just, they are. And I did ask Rima Tree, I was like, hey, I thought, Kachar Forest Retreat is blessed. And we have all these, Buddha statues on top of our main doors. I thought it's supposed to repel them. And Rima said, yes, only for evil spirits, only for spirits with evil intentions, they cannot come in. But the peaceful ones, just like you and I, can just walk through in and out. There's no problem, no problem. Kok Luen Lam. Bereavement centers also have a high concentration of spirits? Yes, definitely. They have, because why? Because sometimes there are many reasons why they linger. Some is because some of them don't even realize that they have passed away. They don't. And unfortunately, there are certain bereavement prayers that were not properly done. And somehow they linger. And for some of them who are very attached to their bodies, will also linger around the cemetery. They will, because they're very attached to their bodies and they refuse to leave. So definitely at crematoriums and funeral homes and crematoriums. So that's why proper prayers must be done to calm the mind, so that they don't hang out and get so attached, and they cannot help it, because that's how they were as a human. That's how they were. Yeah. Cynthia, I remember there's one time Rima did tell the Thai lady she can join the prayers. Yes, there was one time when we were doing prayers, and she said you can come and join us, and everybody was like looking around, like, where is she? It was quite funny then, because after that we always stayed in a boys' room. It's like a large room where we had bunk beds, so we had to turn on the lights, because some of the guys there were chickens and they were so scared, so we had to sleep with the lights on. Jacinta, thanks JP for the stories. I've been thinking long. Instead of spirits, have you ever met yetis? I would love to meet a yeti, but no. I even went to Willow Creek, which is the mecca for Bigfoot or yetis, and with Rinpoche. No, we have not. I have not. But apparently, according to Rinpoche, there are Tibetan prayers Buddhist prayers that you can do, that you can actually you can invoke upon them. You can actually call them and they will come. So unfortunately, I don't have that experience. Maybe in the future, if I do, I will definitely share it with all of you. Okay, do we have any more questions? Christina says, but the Sifu could tell the person who sat on that desk definitely goes out a lot at night, and he said, I brought them back with me. We all had a little blessed disc to carry, and mine turned color. Turned to black, and the rest of my colleagues' discs were still looking clear except mine, but I don't feel anything at all. Well, Christina, you see, not everyone can feel can feel. Not everyone. You see, even for me, it doesn't mean that I can see all the spirits. There are certain people who can see spirits all the time. I don't see them all the time. But I usually feel them. But lately, ever since my teacher did a ritual to bless me, and ever since I've been doing my purification practices especially for spirits, I experience them less, and I'm not as sensitive anymore. I'm not as sensitive. Unless they are so strong, then yes. But otherwise, not like before. I could sense them like a mile away. Not like before. Thank goodness. I'm not saying that it is wonderful to sense it, because why? Well, because first of all, I'm not equipped with the skill to protect myself when the evil ones, want to attack me. So I'm not. And there are certain evil ones, if we keep connecting to them, there are certain evil ones that I've heard that can actually like punch you and knock you and drag you from your bed. I've heard of that before. But I'm very lucky that has not happened to me before. Touch wood for that. Yeah? What time is it? Oh, I think we have passed our time. So there are so many more experiences that I've listed down that I can share with you all. Oh, Andrew is watching. Hi, Andrew. I just talked about our experience in Bangkok and the lady that you saw. So gotta go. I have many more. I'm sorry, time flies. Yeah, so I will continue next week. Wait, there's one more question. Chin Wei Ong. Hi, JP. Is it okay to leave the mantra playing at night while we're sleeping? Of course, it is okay. It is okay. Yeah, there's nothing to be fearful of. Because they are beings in the spirit realm, and they're very lonely, and it's fine. It's fine. If you don't see them, you don't see them, and that's it. Yeah. And if you do see them, do your prayers and bless them with your prayers. That's what we are always told to do. Okay. So I think that's it. Thank you very much. Yes, Christina, it's so fast. I'm very sorry. But I'll see you tomorrow, 8:30, for my morning meditation. All right. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. I have a lot of exciting stories to tell all of you next week. So again, every Thursday, 10 p.m. Malaysian time, I'll see you. Have a great night. Bye.